welcome back to another episode of Thank You 210, a show where we discuss and do a deep dive into the local theater arts scene in San Antonio, Texas, aka the 210. I am your host, Julie Pope, local actress and art freak. Chances are you've probably already seen a play. Your cousin's high school musical, you might have even been in a play before, a church nativity scene, something, right? No matter how many times people try to discredit the theater in our culture, it's never gone away. We have always had it in one way or another because people are natural storytellers. Narrativizing is the way that we conceive of our lives and the way that we pass on wisdom from one generation to the next, right? All that being said, you've probably already done this before, but you didn't know there were rules, did you? Unfortunately, even in today's day and age, I have been in plays as recently as just a couple of months ago, where very well-meaning people, where I know they are appreciating the theater, they are not practicing proper theater etiquette. And I will say, the actors do see and hear you, so do the crew, so do the production team, and we do think you are rude if you do not abide by these rules. Rule number 1, dress as nicely as you can. I was always taught from a very young age that it is a sign of respect, especially on an opening or a closing night, to dress up nicely to go to the theater. Not because it's a rich people's pastime or anything like that. I did not grow up rich at all. My mother was a single mother of 5 when a church mother took me to the Majestic to see Les Miserables for the first time. I'm pretty sure the dress that I wore was either from Ross, TJ Maxx, or Goodwill, but I still dressed nicely. I made sure that I showed up correctly. Rule number 2, do not talk during the performance. This is a really bad habit that I've seen, especially in recent years, like post-pandemic. I think we've gotten very used to a streaming culture where you are not just watching TV, but you're watching streaming. Back in my day, not to age myself, in the early aughts when we had cable, you couldn't pause what you were watching. If you talked during the show, that was it. You wait till commercial to talk. Nowadays, I am noticing grown adults talking during incredibly serious scenes. I had a big monologue during the show I was in a couple of months ago, Educating Rita, that was incredibly emotionally taxing and, in my opinion, really drove home the actual central thesis of the show. Yet and still, at the start of this monologue, what do I hear but 2 people in the front row talking? From what I heard, they were trying to catch each other up on the play and the happenings of the play. But guess what, honey? If you've been paying attention, instead of looking at your phone, silent or not, you're going to know what just happened in the play. Do not do this. Do not be this person. It is the biggest no-no of the theater. Do not talk in the theater. And don't even think about heckling. You actually could literally endanger somebody's life. There are heavy set pieces that have to go down at exact cues. There are people doing choreography on a stage that is 10 feet off of the ground. Do not do it. Do not be an interrupter. Do not be a heckler. In a similar vein, silence your cell phones. There are intermissions in almost every single show, so don't worry. Another thing, communicate with your ushers. If you are in the middle of a situation that you did not anticipate when you bought your tickets, tell your ushers that. They might be able to give you seating that is non-disruptive. I also saw people during, not just my show, but during other shows, I see them walking across the front to go to the bathroom. I understand if you cannot control your bowels, that happens. I am not here to mess with anybody's medical issues because I have them myself. Find the least disruptive route possible. And if you know you have an issue, like a chronic issue, seat yourself at the edge towards the back. If you have children who are noisy, we love for children to be exposed to the theater. Really consider the play you're going to go see. I nanny on the side. I was a preschool teacher full time for a good amount of years. I went to school for it as well. I am extraordinarily sympathetic to any parent that wants to enjoy their life and also bring their children to be more cultured. Kids get bored. And not every kid is built different. It is not reflective of your parenting. What is reflective of your parenting is your ability to plan ahead. So if you know your kid is a little colicky, if you know your kid likes to jump up and down, I'm not going to say don't bring your child, but ask questions beforehand. You can call the box office and ask questions. You can do your research and say, how long is this play? Is there an intermission here? The mother I nanny for, she always asks me if she wants to go see a show. She's like, how long is it? Is it kid friendly? What is the content? So partially to protect her children, but also because she does not want them crashing out like mid-show. Really think ahead before you do these things. Theater is for everyone. We've got some wonderful like child-friendly theater in San Antonio, especially with the Magic and the Wonder. Check out what they've got going on. But like as for like a serious play, most plays tend to be about 2 to 3 hours long. Plan ahead. Arrive on time. I am ridiculously guilty of this, largely because not only do I lead a very busy life as a performer, full-time worker, and student myself, but I like to observe rule number 1, like to a T. I almost go in cosplay just to see my friends, just to cheer them on. I love to dress on theme. It is one of my favorite things to do. I've been late before is what I'm saying. Really refrain from doing this. I've gotten better and better to the point where I've also had to tell myself, hey, if this means not observing rule number 1, it's important, but it's not as important as not disrupting the show. Show up on time. That way you are not scooching past people, making them get up, and I'm speaking from experience, not judgment, during the first 10 minutes of the show. And I will also say, if you miss the first 10 minutes of the show, it's not that it's not worth still seeing the show if an emergency happens or something like that, but a lot of shows, there's so much bundled up into those first 10 minutes. This is not a movie theater. There are no trailers playing. You're missing the plot. Shows, unlike movies, circulate throughout time. And so as audiences have presented an underdeveloped media literacy level in years recent past, the literature has not necessarily updated itself to accommodate you. This is why it's considered cultured to go to a live theater and play, of many reasons, versus just going to a movie theater. Movies are cut for the masses. It's highly consumable, on a scale of going to the opera and doom scrolling Instagram reels. Theater's a little bit higher up there for sure. For this reason, and the movie theater, cinema, is, depending on what movie you see, a little more towards the middle. You can have a pretty wide range, but largely speaking, it's going to be a very different experience, which is why I'm making this guide. Clean up after yourself. If you get concessions, or even if you don't, clean up after yourself. The ushers do clean up after you. They are not your maids. The ushers are actually there to guide you to your seats and give you a comfortable experience. They are not your custodians. They are not your janitors. Finally, during curtain call, do not leave. Wait and let the actors take their bow. These are real people. They worked very, very hard, and they're probably exhausted. If you're in a rush after the show, again, allot that 3 to 3.5 hours for each show. Not all of them run that long, but many do. During curtain call, stay the whole way, applaud. They're probably still singing, and especially if you came to see somebody, just wait 1 second, dude. Just 1 second. And they will be out to see you soon. The actors actually do enjoy coming out to the lobby after the show to say hello to everybody. And finally, post about the show. Leave a review on their Google Maps. Make a post on your social media holding your program, taking a photo with the actors. Anything, just get the word out. Theater is not necessarily a dying art, but it is still an underappreciated art. And every day when I meet people that come to see my shows when they meet me because they're like, that would be cool. I didn't know there were things like that in town. They could have known if you had told them. If you had said, this is really cool. We talk about the movies we see all the time. I know that it requires a lot of context to sort of describe what you're seeing, but if you just say, hey, I went to see a live show at this place, and it was fantastic. I think I'm gonna go again. Do you want to come with me? Brother, there's nothing quite like the experience of going to see a live show with the people you love and care about. Make it a thing, make it a date. You want to romanticize your life? Start with seeing a show. Especially if you want to get involved, the best way to become the level of artist that most people want to become is to expose yourself to as much of that art as possible, especially from people who are more experienced than you. So this is why this is the first episode, the first solo episode that I am creating in Thank You 210, because this is the easiest, most simple step that you could possibly take. I think in seeing a lot of shows, you'll also be able to sort of discern secondhand, is this right for me? Am I someone who can go up and do what these people are doing? And I say that with the caveat that you probably are. Even if you feel like you are too shy, even if you're wondering, how do they do this in all of this makeup and costumes? How are they singing so loudly? How are they doing all of these dance moves? Take it from somebody who used to look like a dying fish on stage. You will learn and you will improve, okay? You just have to get started. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to the second ever episode of Thank You 210, but the first ever solo episode of Thank You 210. It has been an absolute delight. Next episode, we are going to talk about the things that you need to know before trying out for your first audition. An absolute and utter deep dive. Not only so that you don't feel intimidated, but so that you actually do a good job. All right, so look forward to that dropping as soon as possible. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you in 210.